Johnny Wayne Studios. This ain't words not rude.
I have it. I know it's one of the best things you can eat right before you go to bed. Yeah. It's cottage cheese for sure.
Yep. And if you guys listen to our other podcasts, our advice about, if you get hungry, cravings, the battle of the cravings, what we tell you to do before you went to bed. Go have sex with your wife or yourself and go to sleep. If you've hit your calories for the day, just don't go over.
Burn a couple more calories.
That is the most quoted episode that I get when people talk about your show.
Oh, really?
It's that line right there.
It's great advice. It's great advice.
Here's what I do late at night. I like those flavored sparkling waters. Hit one of those cans if I got a craving at night. It has just a little bit of that little sweeten.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they don't have any calories, any carbs in it, so it's a way to kind of satisfy a little bit.
Hey, tricking your brain into something. Yeah. You're getting the sweeten that you're craving.
You know it's tuning in live. It's that Words by Rule anthem. Wake up in the morning, get that daily inspiration. One day at a time, we stay on our grind. Humble all the time, then we all gonna shine. I'm tuning in live.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Ryan Waters here with Shred, and I'm here with Aaron Simpson, and Jody Rue is gone.
Put out the Jody alert.
Yep. Jody got a great opportunity up in Chicago to run a gym. Somebody saw his talent, snatched him up, so Jody's going to be up there. He'll be on the show from time to time with us, but not on the reg.
Well, does that mean we get to go to Chicago? We take the show there?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
For sure.
We will.
Lollapalooza.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, we got reader questions this week. Listener questions. I'm sorry. Old newspaper guy, I'm going to say reader, but we got listener questions.
I didn't know we were putting out a publication people could read. That's cool.
Well, sometimes I stumble back into my old ways, but listeners have questions for the two of you guys. Let's really test your knowledge.
Awesome.
Here we go.
All right.
Quiz time coming on.
Here we go.
And we didn't study for these, by the way, so if we mess up, don't fact check us.
Well,
Ryan will have lots of really good
stats.
Your stats will be on par.
That's exactly where I was going to go. So you haven't made up your stats yet.
I'm thinking of them.
It's just going to be on the fly.
Here's the big. Here, let's start off with this one, Ryan. Should I eat late at night or before bed?
Well, that's a good question. It all really depends on your total calories for the day. Last thing you want to eat right before you go to bed is a bunch of bad carbs. Even though I did read a book, all these gimmick diets, I read a book called Carb Backloading, which basically you eat your proteins and your fats all day long. And then at night, in the book, it suggested you just smashed all kinds of carbs, which I don't agree with totally, but like the science behind it. Right before you go to bed. Carb backloading, you can look it up. I don't believe in it. I read the book, but they were like, smash a pizza before you go to bed. Obviously, it's still pizza.
All right, this is already my favorite diet. I'm gonna leave the shred plan, and I'm gonna go to the pizza and ice cream every night before bed.
That's what they suggested. Carb backload, yeah. So I read it, but I didn't really believe in it because it's still kind of like the if it fits your macros, people, you're still not going into calorie surplus, but it's still shit calories that you're getting. So it really just depends on if you need food. If you had a busy day and you ate 500 calories during the day and you still need 700 to eat at night, go and have a big meal before you go to bed. Your body burns calories all day long. So don't worry about it. Just try to, not eat any high glycemic index carbs before you go to bed and you'll be fine.
Yeah, like last night I knew that I was way down on protein for the day, and so I went and made a protein shake, 50 grams of protein, and I had a Greek yogurt right before I went to bed, literally as I was laying in bed. And that was only because in the back of my mind, I'm like, should I eat right now? But then I started adding up in my head like how much protein I had, and I needed it. I was just way behind on my protein intake for that day. So
absolutely, like casein protein, you guys heard of, it's a slower digesting protein. Bodybuilders, people that hit their calories have had casein protein right before they go to bed. It's slower digesting, so you can burn more calories throughout the night. Also, peanut butter.
I had some peanut butter too. Yeah. I wasn't going to say that, but it's in my nightstand.
Yeah.
So
when are you not eating peanut butter?
Not very often.
Yeah.
Right after my workout, because we talked about that.
We talked about fats.
And I don't eat peanut butter a lot during the morning time, so it's usually like evening and right before I go to bed. Yeah, because it's in the nightstand literally.
Yeah. So like you said, if you eat the fats though right before you go to bed, you're not going to get a blood sugar spike. You're going to keep your insulin low. So cottage cheese is another good one because cottage cheese is a form of casein protein. So that's a good little snack if you're hungry before you go to bed. But really, to answer the question, you really just need to look at your overall calories and see where you're at for the day and see if you need to get any more protein, like Aaron said, or any more fats or whatever.
I think the hardest thing for people is that at that time usually you have those cravings, and that's when you're going to end up eating something that you shouldn't eat.
Yep.
Especially if you've had a drink or two, because now all of a sudden you really want that nachos or those chips that have been in your cabinet. So, again, like Ryan said, I am not a cottage cheese fan. I can't stomach it. You stick them in my, I stick a spoonful in my mouth and it comes right back up.
Oh, I love that.
But I have it. I know it's one of the best things you can eat right before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Is cottage cheese for sure.
Yep. And if you guys listen to our other podcast or advice about, if you get hungry, cravings, the battle of the cravings,
Yeah.
what we tell you to do before you went to bed. Go have sex
Yeah.
with your
Yeah.
wife
Yep.
or yourself and go to sleep. If you've hit your calories for the day,
By
just
the
don't
way,
go over.
Burn
That
a
is
couple more calories.
That is the most quoted episode that I get when people talk about your show.
Oh, really?
It's that line right there.
It's great advice. It's
Yeah.
great advice.
Here's what I do late at night. I like those flavored sparkling waters. Hit one of those cans if I got a craving at night because it has just a little bit of that
Little sweet-
sweeten.
yeah.
But a lot of times they don't have any calories, any carbs in it, so it's a way to kind of satisfy a little bit.
You're tricking your brain into something.
Yeah.
You're getting the sweet in that you're craving.
Also, I found good luck with just having like a caffeine-free tea. When you go to bed, tea, like a warm tea will help too.
Sleepy time tea.
Sleepy time tea.
I like that.
Yep.
I want to stick on the timing thing because I like to make these things all about me. So I'm gonna. Timing is a big question for me, and I think other people have it, and maybe they haven't asked, or maybe I'm just I'm the only one that asked this. But also, when you should eat certain things. So like during the day, when you schedule your workouts, what should you be eating maybe before you work out? What should you be eating after you work out? When should you have the more protein heavy or even more carb heavy meals? You talk a lot about carbs, when they're good, when they're bad. So should you schedule when you have certain things?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We've talked about this in the protein episode and the carb episode and the fats. Really, we're big fans of an insulin-controlled diet. So that means, really having low glycemic index carbs if you're going to have them throughout the day, or higher protein. So I'm a big advocate of having protein in every meal. Every meal you eat, you need protein, and then you fluctuate your carbs and your fats based on if it's pre-workout, post-workout, or what time of day it is. So you want to be carb protein heavy pre-workout, carb protein heavy post-workout, and the rest of the time you can just do proteins, fats with veggies and be good.
Yeah, and we talked about I think it was the last one too, about not eating fats. About at least an hour after you work out, stay away from the fats. Avoid that.
Yeah, protein all day, carbs really before post-workout, and then fats throughout the day. Like replace your fats with carbs pre and post-workout.
I mean, we've talked about it, but I'm a huge firm believer in you almost can't get too much protein in, because I feel like most people don't get enough protein in the first place, or they're scared to actually eat that much protein.
Yeah, and I think so if you have a 130-pound female, I hear it all the time, I can't eat that much protein. So you're 130 pounds. If you're going with the minimum that we suggest, which is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and you think about like a 4-ounce chicken breast, you're going to get about 20 to 28 grams of protein in that. And you do that a couple times. You do some egg whites, that's another 25. You're up to 75. Then you do a post-workout protein shake. That puts you over 100. Then you have dinner of salmon or fatty protein source. That's 130. But then just looking at 130 grams of protein, oh my God, just like 130 grams of carbs. If you're going to have that, people will freak out looking at that number. I just worked out. I did some legs earlier. I literally consumed 140 grams of carbs intra-workout and post-workout. That, and anybody else would shit their pants. They not literally shit their pants, but
that's the worst workout
out.
ever.
Yes, that is a bad workout.
It's a bad workout if you shit your pants, but not literally. But
it all went wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, I just drank them because I worked out, it depleted my glycogen. I was restoring that, so it's really all about timing. Of your carbs and your proteins and your fats all day long, like we talked about.
Let's stay on food. A couple more on food. Here is a question. Why am I always so hungry an hour after I eat fruit?
Well, a couple different things on that. One, like we just talked about with getting in the protein, when you're only eating a carb, let's say you're eating just fruit or just a salad or something like that, your body is going to break that down and it's going to be out of your stomach in less than an hour. So that's why you're going to feel hungry. That's why we're a big advocate of pushing the protein with every single meal, because protein takes longer for your stomach to break down. So it keeps you fuller longer than if you're just eating fruit. Also with that, you're going to get the insulin spike and so on and so forth when you only eat the fruit. It's going to give you energy, but then you're going to have that crash later.
Yep, and fruit. If you think about it, fruit is fructose. It's still sugar, and so that it's going to be higher on the glycemic index. So it is going to be quicker digesting. So if you're just eating a piece of fruit, like you said, it's going to hit you, and then it's going to go through really fast. So if you ever think about it, if you just take an apple and eat an apple. If I eat an apple by itself, 30 minutes later, I'm like dying of hunger. My stomach like hurts because I'm so hungry because of that very reason. But if I take an apple and I put peanut butter on it, then I'm fine.
Yeah.
So a good snack for you to have, a good healthy snack is maybe like a whey protein shake, an apple and some peanut butter, or an apple and some almonds. Like that's a very healthy snack you can have like midday. That's going to give you energy, but you're not going to crash afterwards.
I get asked a lot about how come I'm so hungry after I eat sushi. And a lot of it is because especially if you're eating all rolls, you're not getting a lot of protein in that. You're getting mainly just carbs. So your body breaks down that rice so quick and it's out, and you don't have very much protein for your stomach to break down, so you feel hungry after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like cereal's the same way. You eat a bowl of cereal and an hour later you're starving.
Well, too, if you're just getting like a sushi roll, so say you get a piece of yellowfin tuna.
That sounds so good right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Fish is an easier protein source to break down for your body, opposed to, because we talked about in the protein episode how much you have to chew it. You just know how fast your body is going to be breaking it down. So fish is pretty, if you cook it, it's pretty flaky, even if you eat it raw with sushi. But you have that really fast digesting protein, with the fish, and then you put it on white rice, sushi rice, which is one of the highest things on glycemic index. So you get those fast carbs and you get the protein that breaks down easy. That's why you're hungry after sushi.
You just talked about adding peanut butter to your apple, adding a protein shake. One of the craziest things to me when I started eating healthier with you, the amount of food that I still ate. I mean, like I didn't get to be 240 pounds by eating a little bit, right? However, I was shocked that sometimes your meal plan had me eating more than I normally would during a meal. So can you talk a little bit about that to people, about how it's not, eating less is good, but it's more about what you're eating as much as it is eating less.
Yeah, absolutely. So eating a not saying Nick is on 1,300 calories, but so eating a 1,600 calorie meal of really healthy fats, lean protein sources, and low glycemic index carbs, veggies, and fruit. If you laid 1,600 calories out for that, it is a lot of food. Like you look at several meals that have a lot of food in them, but they're nutrient dense, opposed to a Happy Meal, that has a bunch of shit food in it. So for people to tell me that they can't eat as much as, I can't eat 1,300 calories, I can't eat 1,400 calories. You can't eat that much, or you wouldn't have got overweight. You wouldn't have got fat if you can't eat that much. It's just a lot of quantity, and your body has to do more. Your body has to break that food down more. So you're getting a more thermal effect of food, but it's healthier food. It's whole foods, and your body likes that opposed to shit.
Yeah, like week 1, it's definitely hard for somebody who only eats once or twice a day. By week 2 and by week 3, you are very hungry 2 hours to 2.5 hours after you're done eating, because you're actually getting your metabolism speed up and burn that food faster.
Yeah, this is a good example. Like during the week, I prep all my food. I have 5 meals prepped throughout the week, and I'm eating a lot of food. I'm eating every 2.5, 3 hours, simply because I have to eat that often to get all my calories in. But then on the week, I do that Monday through Friday when I'm training. And on the weekends, I feel like I just, if I go to a restaurant, I eat lunch out or eat dinner out, I only eat 2 meals, but I feel like I'm full the whole day. But I'm still in a calorie surplus because, because all that junk food is keeping me fuller for longer, and it makes me feel like shit. So, but then during the week, I'm eating a lot more quantity of food, and I'm getting hungrier. So.
Well, I'm gonna do one more question about food, and I like this one a lot because Aaron, you just talked about how I usually only eat twice a day, and now you've got several meals planned out through the meal plan that you work on with your trainers. So here's one kind of along that same lines. She says, I only eat when I have time, and I'm not seeing any results, even though when I do have time and eat, I'm eating clean.
Well, even if you're eating clean and you're eating whatever you want, it's a calorie balance. I mean, it's calories in versus calories out. So even if you're eating healthy, you could be massively under eating, which we talked about before. Has got a negative effect on your metabolism, put your body in a catabolic state. So you really have to. It's not really about just eating healthy stuff, because I hear that a lot about people like, oh yeah, I've been eating healthy, and I ask them, they start listing off. Oh, I wake up and I have an egg for breakfast, and then for lunch I have a salad, and then for a snack I have some almonds, and then for dinner I have a piece of protein and veggies. And I'm like, when people tell me this, I'm adding all these calories up in my head. And I'm like, yeah, you're still massively under eating, so your metabolism isn't burning shit. You're just sitting on what you have. That's why you're not seeing the results that you want. That's why you have to figure out the total amount of calories and hit that, and not just think about eating healthier food.
And with all that said too, we've talked about it, but as soon as somebody starts eating that way, they don't think they can do it. They realize they can do it, and then they realize how much better they feel physically throughout the day, because now you're keeping your body fueled and it's burning all day long, and you're keeping the energy levels up too. I can only imagine eating once or twice a day, how drained you have to feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's probably the people who live on coffee.
Yes,
24/7.
you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming from
I
somebody who
spent
does
20 years doing that.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee, and I'm not a big, caffeine fan, even though I'm drinking a Bang, because I just feel like the last several podcasts I'm yawning the whole time in the background. But so I drank a Bang today. But that's the people having to live on coffee, because your body just doesn't. It's not even, nothing's happening inside of you.
No.
It's just sitting stagnant.
Yeah, and if you do it for too long, and you're not hungry, that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign for your metabolism. That's a bad sign for your hormones. If you've been under eating for so long that you never get hungry. I don't eat because I'm not hungry. I don't know how many times I hear that.
All the time.
I don't eat because I'm not hungry. Yeah, because your metabolism is I almost dropped the F-bomb. Your metabolism is screwed
I think
up.
that's our one rule.
What? No F-bombs?
Yeah, I think that's our one
I
rule.
thought you told me I get 2 a show, and I haven't
Not
used them
the
for a while.
F-bomb.
Oh, I thought I got 2
I
F-bombs
don't-
a show.
I think that's our one rule.
I don't think so.
That's the one word.
Oh, okay, yeah. Your metabolism's real messed up. So yeah, that's what's happening if you're not seeing any results.
All right, I probably, if I were a better producer, I would have opened with this question. But I think this is a good question. This is one everybody asks. All right, I'm ready to make the change. I'm ready to start working out. I'm ready to start eating clean. How long before I see some results? How long is this going to take me? I want to lose fast, guys.
Well, the results that you're
Take it serious
yeah,
first.
it depends on how much you're going to put into it.
Yeah.
If you're, I say this time and time again, I have for years to clients, is I give you the tools and you have to use them. So if you're going to give 60% effort, then you're going to see 60% results. Okay. But if you're giving it all, the first thing that you're going to see in terms of results is the way you feel. You're going to feel better in terms of just your cognitive function, just the way you feel day to day, your energy levels. That's going to be what you see and feel, what you feel first before you see anything change in your body. And then what happens typically, and it all depends on where you're at in your fitness journey. If you're brand new to weights and brand new to eating healthy, then, results come faster for some people. It goes back to your body type too. Results come faster for some people, but you should start seeing your clothes fit different after the first week or two, really, because if you've been eating like shit before, you're retaining a bunch of water. So, and that's what I tell people too. I'm like, don't base your whole results of your entire journey based off what you lost the first week. Because people get so discouraged because they start eating healthy. They've been eating McDonald's, eating shit food all the time. Then they clean up their diet and they start exercising. And so the first week they're like, I lost 7 pounds. And I'm like, well, okay, that wasn't 7 pounds of fat. That was water retention from the way you've been eating. So, you'll get a quick drop and your clothes will start to feel better. But realistically, you should start seeing results in 2 to 3 to 4 weeks where people are noticing it.
Right.
A lot of times you see a difference in your face. Like, oh my gosh, your face looks skinnier.
Yeah.
And your belt loop, you get to move another belt loop. Even though the scale may not be moving, as we talked about in the Battle of the Scale episode, because if you're strength training, your body's retaining a ton more water as your muscles recover too. So you could drop quick water and then your body could retain it again. So
Is there a realistic expectation of, if you're a weight loss person, not bodybuilder, but you're changing your habits to work out and eat healthy to lose weight? Is there an expectation then of, can I lose a pound a week? Can I lose 2 pounds a week? Or is it bad form? Or should you not put that kind of expectation on yourself?
No, like I said, people set themselves up for failure because they get so excited for that first week or two where you get a big drop. And then they base their whole thing off that. Like, oh shit, it's not working anymore because I only lost 1 pound this week. Well, 1 pound a week is realistic.
Or I stayed the same.
Yeah, or you stayed the same.
Or gained a pound or two.
Yeah, but go back if you guys have any more questions about this and read the Battle of the Scale, or listen. Don't read it because we don't put it.
Again,
shit
we're
out
back on
in
the
print.
newspaper.
But listen to the Battle of the Scale episode again because we touched on that a lot in terms of how your body retains water different ways. Girls on their period, after leg day, after big muscle group days, how the scale will fluctuate so much. So you can't set yourself up by thinking that you're going to lose the same amount. So for females, I always tell females, if you lose 1 pound a week,
That's good.
That's good.
Because it's
okay?
like 1 real pound.
Yeah, and
not
we can
water weight pound.
Yeah, and if you're thinking about calorie breakdown and your calorie deficit, and we can say, okay, you're in 1,000 calorie deficit a day times 7 days a week. That's 7,000 calories a week. A pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So if you're in a 7,000 calorie deficit per week, then that's 2 pounds a week if you want to get into the equation of it all. But for females, females, they're not going to burn as much as males. So 2 pounds a week for males, realistically. But if you think about that, people, I know everybody gets fat over like 30 years, 20 or 30 years, but then they want to freaking get like 100 pounds off in 1 year, which it can be done, but don't stop doing what you're doing if your weight's not just falling off every week. It's a grind. You didn't get fat overnight, so you're not going to lose your weight overnight. If you think about 52 weeks in a year and you're losing 2 pounds consistently a week, for a guy, or for anybody, that's 104 pounds in 1 year. That's a game changer.
Right.
You know, even if you're losing,
Life changer.
that's a life changer. Even if you're losing 1 pound a week, that's 52 pounds in a year. Okay, think about if you just put in the work for 1 year and you can lose 52 pounds. You should be happy with that. I'm sick and tired of the people that have unrealistic expectations that think they should just be shitting weight off. Like every day they wake up, the weight should be falling off. You have to work for it. You had to work to get fat. You got to work to get the fat off.
Right. And
I love Preacher Ryan. I don't know about you, Aaron, but Preacher Ryan
We need a
gets me
box.
going.
Hallelujah.
We need a box. We need a box for him to stand on. You know, and the one thing to add to that, because you just answered the whole thing, but don't compare yourself to somebody else. Your workout partner may be seeing completely different
I
results.
love how you set up my next two questions.
Oh, see, we don't even know what these are. So
Lay
this
up,
is
lay up.
perfect. Yep, there you go. But don't compare yourself to the next person, because your body type, their body type could be completely different. Even if your body types are the same, different age groups. Lots of things come into
Different
factor.
metabolisms.
Yeah, different metabolisms, especially somebody who's eating once a day and now they're going higher. A lot of times I see people see huge results in the first 2 weeks, and then week 3 they come to me and they're almost disappointed. And it's like, okay, we got, like you said, you got to get rid of the unrealistic expectation, which was week 1 and week 2.
Yep.
Now this is normal. This is where you got to now you're grinding it out.
Yep, absolutely.
You just asked about comparing yourself to other people. Here's a good question. My husband and I are doing the same workout. Why is he burning more calories than me?
Well, one, he probably weighs more. Okay, and men just have a naturally higher metabolism, and we have something very magical in our bodies. It's called testosterone.
I feel like there's a Tim Allen routine in there somewhere.
You ladies have some testosterone, but it's on a tiny amount compared to men. So testosterone will help you build lean body mass. It speeds up metabolism. We're sorry we have it. But so
Love it.
And also the more muscle mass you have, the more calories you burn. It's even like it's based on the BMR. You know, you put in your age, height, weight, and your gender to figure out a BMR to figure out how many calories you're burning. So it's unfair, ladies. I get it, but it is what it is.
Well, the other thing to add to that too, like a 200-pound guy that's overweight and a 200-pound guy with muscle, the guy with muscle is going to burn a lot more because your muscle is going to burn more than the person that's just overweight.
Yep.
Also, with that being said, most guys eat a lot more calories than girls, so we have to actually burn more calories at the end of the day too.
Absolutely. You know, and like I said, the testosterone is good for men, but it also lowers as you get older. And if you're eating healthy, you can keep your testosterone levels up a lot higher. But for females, you know, as you age, you get the bad estrogen. You know, you get the cortisol. You get a lot of things that are negatively affecting your metabolism and your weight loss. So I strongly suggest if you listen to this podcast and you're doing everything we say to do, like you're in a diet 100%, you're doing all the cardio regimen we tell you to do, you're lifting heavy, and you're not seeing results, I strongly suggest you get into a hormone doctor and get your levels checked, because you could just be, if your hormones are a wreck, then you could just be spinning your wheels. And no matter if you're on point with anybody's brilliant diet and you work your ass off, if your hormones are jacked, that scale's not going to move. So if you have not went and got your hormones checked and you're not seeing results, I strongly suggest you get into a doctor.
Yeah, and it seems like more and more I'm hearing thyroid.
Yes,
I'm hearing thyroid all the time now from people that come up to me and talk to me about it. And so it's almost like now I have a random questions that you just ask. One is, you know, have you had your hormone level checked? Have you had your thyroid checked? If somebody's telling me they're doing everything A to Z that we've taught them how to do.
Yeah, but are they really? I mean, consistently. I mean, because I know a lot of people that say they're doing everything 100%, but you know, you could be.
You guys can tell, right? Because that's one of the things that keeps me honest. Is like I'm pretty sure that if I lie to you, you're gonna know.
Well, you know why we can tell is because we do it. And we see the results that we have on ourselves. Mm-hmm. Now, with that said, everybody's body type is going to be different. My results are going to be a little different than Ryan's, but over time, I've learned what my body needs exactly and what I know I can cheat a little bit more on and what I can't. So there is that aspect there, but 100%, yeah. When somebody tells me, well, I eat healthy, 95% of the time I want to call BS, and no, you don't. Your version of what healthy is. I've actually had friends that have gotten meal plans from Ryan that thought they ate healthy before and then got a meal plan and they love it. It's great food, but they go, I didn't realize I was getting so much more sugar than I thought I could have had. You know, that they didn't realize.
Yeah,
so that is why meal plan people, it's the best money you're ever going to spend. Get a meal plan.
Yep. And, you know, the same thing, too, I can tell in my classes, like just the motor and the intensity.
They're dogging
and they're dogging it. And I ride people pretty hard. Like, I'm not like a drill sergeant where I'll get in your face and yell at you. But if I know you can push yourself. Yeah, I'm a preacher. Yeah, preaching the word.
By the way, that's sticking.
Yeah, preacher Ryan. So I mean, I don't get, but I just know because I've been an athlete my whole life. I mean, I have pushed myself in the weight room. I've pushed myself on the football field at practice to where I know people can push so much harder than they think they can. You know, I just have people that just like completely stop. You know, it just drives me crazy. I'm like, keep going. I know you can keep going. And that's different than somebody working into building up. Like, you can just tell their motor, like how intense they are and how focused they are, where I'm be like, well, you're not seeing the results you want. You could push yourself a little bit harder in class. Because if you're doing that intensity in class in front of me, then what are you doing when you're doing your cardio on your own? What are you doing when you're meal prepping? Like, and I think a lot of times too, people try to outsmart the diets. Okay, instead of just trusting the effing process, they try to that's gross.
No, what he's talking about is 100% true.
They try to outsmart the diet, you know, and it's like, trust the process. And like I just talked about a little bit ago, like, you can't get results overnight. It's going to take time. So if you only have 1 pound of weight loss a week, it's better than 1 pound of weight gain.
Right.
You're still going in the right direction. And don't try to switch up the meal plan to cut even more calories. It happens all the time because, just like Nick said, it seems like a lot of food. So people be like, oh my God, my trainer's feeding me too much. This guy's nuts. This guy, I got to eat all this damn food, you know, so maybe I'll take these carbs out. Maybe I'll take this shit out, you know, and then all of a sudden they're back in this huge calorie deficit because they think they can outsmart the diet, you know?
Oh, he just had to take a breath there.
Freaking sweating in there.
No, that's another thing that it bothers me too, because that happened. That I get that all the time. Well, you know, I didn't do that because I didn't think this, and it's just like right now we're in the middle at all of our locations of a 6-week challenge, and I've had so many people say, well, I was substituting this for this. It's only 6 weeks, people.
Yeah.
Why for 6 weeks can you not focus on just staying in what we have given you, what you paid for crying out loud, instead of trying to change it because you think this is going to be better? This is provenly fact that it's worked over the time.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Do you want another question from me so you can kind of catch your breath, preacher?
Sure, go ahead.
I mean, you look like you need a little breath before you hit the pulpit again.
I was looking for a vein popping out, but he's got a hat on.
No, it's just my pits are sweating.
Mine are too. Is it hot in here? We are in a vault.
Yeah, we are in a vault.
We're literally inside a old vault.
Yep.
I like my little.
I love it.
Is this glass bulletproof?
Well, let's not find out.
What are you worried about?
I don't know. I just wanted.
All right. Well, hey, first, before I get to the next question, I want to say, look, a lot of these questions are from female listeners, which is cool. But we need some dudes to give us some questions too.
Dude,
here is a big question, Ryan. Is it enough if I'm just doing cardio? Do I have to do the strength training, the weights part?
Well,
what do you want to look like?
Yeah, what do you want to look like? Let's go back to what you're working out for. Like, if you're just wanting to be a cardio bunny and diet and look soft, then you could lose some weight, yes, but you're not going to get.
Is that what they call skinny fat?
Yeah, that's what they call scat, because you're scat. Yeah, skinny fat.
I've had a different word for scat, a different meaning. I mean,
skinny fat, scat.
I know, but scat, that's like that's poop.
Yeah, scat is poop.
Yeah.
I always thought scat was you put skinny and fat together.
Well,
scat.
It probably is, but scat's also like wild animal poop.
Oh, nice. It works well. So if you want to look soft and you want to burn off all your muscle when you just do cardio, yeah, it'll work, but you're really going to speed up your metabolism and you're going to build some lean body mass, which is going to in turn make you burn more calories a day if you get into strength training. I've seen so much better results. Like, I always give the example of, look at a bodybuilder opposed to like a cross country or somebody that just does cardio, somebody that does long distance running. They don't have any muscle definition typically. They don't look like aesthetically, they don't look good. So yes, it could be if you're eating a good diet and you're just doing cardio, but like Aaron opened the question up with, what do you want to look like? What do you like? I'm a firm believer that everybody needs to do weights.
Well, I am too. And that also, with all of that we were just talking about, the thing that I hear a lot, and almost daily, I feel like, is, well, I just want to start off with cardio and I want to lose the weight before I start strength training. And I try to every time say no, because as you're losing the weight, you want to actually be, strength training so that now you're tightening and firming everything at the same time. Yep. Again, loose skin or tight skin? What do you want to have?
Yep. Yeah. And
Is it
I'm
all-
looking
is it
at
all-
you, Nick, but you couldn't work out while you were.
Yeah, I'm getting
you
there.
had the bum wing.
Is it all about look though with strength training? I mean, I'm going to assume. Like,
Absolutely
No,
not. Did
no.
you listen to our podcast that we did about anxiety and depression?
yeah.
I'm pretty sure you were in the room with us.
all right, so I was trying to tee you up there, but okay, call me out.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah. It's not just all about the way you look. Especially as we age and our muscles start to break down, you want to stay strong. You don't want to be walking around a nursing home and you can't hold yourself up. Like, you want to build and maintain muscle mass regardless. And don't worry, you're not going to get bulky when I say building muscle mass. You're not going to get bulky. So, it's good for overall health and for longevity, really.
Yeah. At all my locations, we have a lot of senior classes every single week. You don't have to be a senior to be in them, but for the most part, they are people 55 and older. A lot of those people have never lifted one day in their entire life. Yep. Maybe they did when they were in high school, but they haven't lifted in 50 years. So right away, just that little bit of strength training that we do, and it's with either sometimes with no weight, just body weight, and now their mobility, their risk of fall. Some of them walk in with canes. They don't use a cane anymore. We've literally had people walk in walkers, and then after several months of doing those strength training classes, the walker's gone now too. Yeah. So it's huge at no matter what age.
Oh yeah, especially for females as we age, and like your risk for osteoporosis and everything. Huh?
Females as we age.
Oh, as you all age. Your risk for osteoporosis. You need to strengthen your bones. Like you said, there's people walking in with canes and walking out by themselves because it just blows my mind how many people have never worked out their entire life.
Right.
They've never been in the gym. They don't know how to do shit in the gym. Like, how have you never worked? The only muscle you worked is to carry your body weight around and stand up from the couch. I don't understand it. And those are the people that are going to not be able to walk. And the people,
And that's not an age. Some people think, I don't need a personal trainer because, I'm 75. No, you do.
Yeah.
That's the perfect time, in my opinion. If you've never lifted, hire a personal trainer because now you might not necessarily prolong your life in years, but you're going to prolong how you feel in life for the rest of your years by doing that. So again, how do you want to look on the last question? How do you want to feel? Yep. Do you want to feel better? Then you need to add in the strength training.
Well, it all goes back to eating healthy too. Like as you age, you got to eat. You got to feel your body right with the right vitamins and minerals. If you're eating like crap and you're not exercising, you're going to go downhill.
Well, you're going to feel like that too.
Yeah, and you're going to go downhill really fast, opposed to somebody that's eating healthy and taking care of themselves. Like how I always tell people, especially when you got to get. I've only done it a couple times to get in people's kitchen. People that are like majorly at health risk that sit down in front of me and they're like, "Yeah, I went to my doctor. I'm at risk for diabetes. I'm at risk for heart disease." These are people in their 40 years old. And I'm like, "You have kids?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, do you want to see your grandkids? Do you want to be able to move and play with your grandkids? Like, get your shit together and get healthy."
Yeah, a lot of that comes back to just a couple things: mindset and not getting the right plan.
Yeah.
We talk about it. You've brought it up. If you had one car your whole entire life, you're going to spend a lot of money on repairs to make sure that car makes it your whole life. But us as humans, we don't want to spend money on ourselves to make our body last.
We get one body.
When you lose a kidney, yeah, they might be able to put one back in, but they may not. You wear out the kidney or liver from drinking too much or however much. I don't get it because I don't have that mindset, and I feel for people that do. That's also why I do what I do, is to try to reach that person and go, "Come on, come in, let us take you under our wing.
100%.
We want to help you get past whatever's blocking you mentally from getting that."
And it goes back to the people getting brainwashed by the food industry and by these gimmick diets and all this shit that doesn't work for them. Then they lose confidence in themselves that they can achieve anything. And also doctors just throwing pills at ailments instead of fixing it through diet and exercise. I guarantee you could take anybody you know that's on blood pressure medicine and cholesterol medicine and get them on a healthy program. Like, take somebody under their wing that has all like pre-diabetes. I guarantee if you gave somebody to me for 3 months and they went back in the doctor and got their levels checked just by eating a healthy diet and exercising, they wouldn't need to be on medicine anymore. I guarantee you.
And that's one of the coolest rewards that I get to see in here. Oh, I'm not taking this anymore. I'm not taking this anymore. And that's fantastic.
Yep.
Okay,
all the time.
You spent how much money for years taking those pills, and you were too afraid to get a personal trainer or a gym membership because you had all your money going towards pills and prescriptions. Well, come in, spend some money. Those prescriptions are going to go away eventually, and then you have that money that you need for personal training.
Yep, just sell your pills for personal training.
There you go.
I'm just joking.
Shred Podcast does not condone the selling of your pills to pay for training. See an attorney somewhere.
Yeah. I had to say it. What's
All right,
next, Nick? What have you got?
I'm going to give you an opportunity to get back on the pulpit.
Uh-oh.
All right, because you just brought up the fad diets, getting brainwashed. So
this
here's
is a good
here's
one.
the question, and I know this is one of your favorites, just because I know you.
Yep.
This is one of your favorite ones. So here's the question. I have friends that are all doing the keto diet, and they love it,
knew
and they're
it.
seeing success.
I knew it.
Ryan, Aaron, should I do the keto diet too?
We don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. That
Yeah,
was a joke. We've never heard this before.
So we talked about the keto diet, and we ran out of time last episode because we talked about the keto diet, and it's called a keto diet. We're not big fans of diets.
Right.
We preach a lifestyle change. So for us, like the keto was developed for what'd you read, Nick, about kids with diabetes?
It was developed for juvenile diabetes.
Yeah.
It was overweight, obese kids who had diabetes. This was a way to save their lives.
Yep.
It was not developed for the
every day.
mid-40s fatties like me.
Well, especially-
I mean, look, we're going to
well-
keep it real, right?
Yeah.
Right? I
Yeah.
came to you
Yeah.
as a
Well,
mid-40s
you're not a fatty
fatty
anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Come on
Yeah,
now.
but I can say that I don't like the keto diet per se because it's just this fad keto thing. But Nick was on a very low carb. I started Nick because he wasn't exercising, so he wasn't depleting the glycogen, so he didn't eat a lot of carbs. And I was trying to improve his insulin sensitivity. So I believe that keto or eating low carb has very good short-term effects, but if you're going to do something like that, you can't do it long-term. You know, I see good success with the keto diet for 21 to 28 days. And then after that, you got to start adding back in carbs, and it's going to speed up your metabolism. But when you start taking those in those carbs, your insulin sensitivity is going to be so much better. You're going to be using those carbs better. So the keto is good, especially if you're not doing strength training. And I keep on saying keto because that's the name of it, but low carb, like super low carb,
So
higher
if we're
fat.
talking, we're talking Atkins, South Beach,
Right.
keto,
It
just
just all gets
any of
a
those
different-
fads, right?
Different name when somebody comes out and can sell more.
So for people that are exercising, if you're on a true keto where you're eating really low, like not low protein, but lower than we would suggest for people to exercise and no carbs at all, then you're not going to build, you're going to lose your lean body mass. You're not going to have any energy in the gym. So if you are going to try a keto run and do it, take down your training. So to where you're just doing some light cardio and, like some low intensity, steady state. Maybe a little bit of HIIT, but like take your weights down, run keto for a while, see if it helps with your insulin sensitivity, and it might help as you transition into a new dieting method.
Yeah,
but
it's a good thing for to switch it up.
Yeah.
For variety. But yeah, it's just the Atkins diet.
yeah. Yep. So I mean,
certain
and one thing I'll also touch on the keto diet is we told the story about the double bacon cheeseburger covered in mayo.
I don't even. Know
I don't
did that.
like
even
that's
like mayonnaise.
just like we went back to the if it fit your macros people. Like I'm not a believer of whether it's a calorie balance or not. I'm not a believer of any diet where you can just eat whatever you want, regardless of the other health effects of it. So if you do a ketogenic diet or a lower carb diet and you do it with clean foods. Okay, so you're getting healthy fats, and we talked about the healthy fats: avocado, olive oil, coconut oil. Not bacon and mayonnaise, and and shit food. Then a lower carb diet could possibly help improve your insulin sensitivity for a short term. But you got to understand how to transition out of that.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to be able to transition out of the keto. So short
Or why?
Huh?
Or why? What happens if you don't?
Or you're gonna go back to eating like shit.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
So
gonna put
as long as you
everything
can
back
just
on, yeah.
like there is really good effects of diet breaks, okay, and changing up the way you diet, or change up the way you eat. But as long as you're staying, in a calorie deficit with clean foods, you can go low carb for a while, see how your body reacts. But you got to jump back on it and add carbs back in, especially if you're doing strength training.
You talked about this was going to be a good one for Ryan, but this one's a really good one for me because I can't stand the fad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand the fad gyms. I can't stand the fad diets. It's all somebody out there. We all, with our businesses, want to make money. We need to make money, or we wouldn't be able to help the people that we're helping. But it's all about money. That's it. Somebody just comes up with their one little gimmick, and I'm not going to name all the names of the ones that have been out there, but you guys know. How many CDs and DVDs have you bought over the years and different things? Or how many things do you see a little place open up and then boom, a couple years later, it's gone?
I'm doing P90X tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and hey, some people see good results on it, but it's not something that you're going to do long term. Let's face the facts. What's stayed around long term? Dumbbells,
Yep.
bikes, treadmills,
Yep.
your basics, all these fancy gazelle and this contraption and this thing, and it moves this way and that way.
The shake weight.
Golly, it drives me insane
The
because
shake
it's
weight.
also for me, it's I take it personal too, because we are old school. We do things the way that it has been done for years and years and years, and it's proven to work. It ticks me off when somebody comes out with something that's just some gimmick, and then your people go, oh, I'm going to try that. And you're just like, why? You're going to waste your money, and you're going to be right back here in 6 months just ticked off.
All right, that leaves me a good question. I've always wondered this, and I'm gonna give it to your can we call it your preacher protege?
Hey, I'm the one that's I'm usually the one quoting scripture. And that kind of stuff.
I'm bad cop. He's good cop. So give it to good cop.
That is definitely us.
All right. Question for good cop.
Perfect.
Free weights, old school cowbell, machine weights. Is there a difference? Is one good or bad, or is there just a purpose for each?
Well, there definitely is a purpose for each, and usually that's going to come down to body type, age. A 75-year-old woman's not going to go over and start flat bench, pressing. She's going to go use the chest press machine. So yeah, but if I was going to pick the two, you're going to get a lot better workout with free weights than you are on a machine. The machine's doing part of the work for you. The machine is not working your small fibers and tendons inside your muscle, like trying to hold your dumbbells and push them at the same and not be off balance. So yeah, you're going to get a lot better workout, and you're going to get faster results on free weights. But if you're walking in the door day one and you've never lifted in 20 years, we're going to probably start you on machines, and we're going to start you off slow, like maybe a circuit style training. And then circuit style after a few weeks is just going to do nothing for you anymore. Now it's time to put you on some free weights.
Yep, absolutely. Because if you think about it, machines are all stable.
Right.
So, if you're doing a seated shoulder press, you're leaning back against the machine. You're not having the things moving together, so you're not having to stabilize. Your core doesn't have to stabilize. So, opposed to doing a seated shoulder press, opposed to a standing military, we're going to have your core engaged. You're going to work almost your entire body to get the barbell up or dumbbells up. If you're doing it, you're going to use a lot more muscles doing that. But like Aaron said, there's also a risk factor when you do free weights opposed to machines if you don't have a spot there, especially. So.
And I mean, do I use machines, and does Ryan use machines in his workout? Yeah, we do. That's where we switch it up too. So we're not just doing the same thing all the time, or else your body's going to stop seeing results as well. But that was a perfect example when you brought up shoulder press, like a military press, so an overhead press. Even just sitting here in the chair with my hands, you have to hold your whole entire body and keep it tight. Yep. Where a machine takes all of that out.
Yep. Really
and
does.
then I love the machine where it has the little, like the chest press that has the foot thing to get the weights off the stack. That's all it's for. It's not for you to leave your feet on the whole entire time and help push the weight.
You know what my favorite machine is? The ab cruncher, one, or actually the adductors.
I get more requests for that machine.
Nobody knows.
Not even kidding you. I got one.
People might know.
Sorry, a buddy might send it to me. I got one this week. I think they're the biggest waste of time.
Yeah.
Those machines.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just think that you get sore and tight, but I mean, again, that's doing all the work for you,
really
and you're
is,
not just using your core. You're going to get more work and better core work just on the ground or on a stability ball.
Yep, and absolutely, and even doing a military press, you're going to get better core stabilization and core endurance out of that than just doing a crunch motion on a crunch machine. Because really, all you're doing when you're doing that, especially if you add a heavy load to it, is you're just like tightening and building those abs, and as you tighten those, it's just going to round your back forward. I mean, you're just going to start to tighten those because, we talked about before, I threw out rectus abdominis because, big word.
So there we go.
So that's your ab muscles, and those it controls spinal flexion. So if you're repeating the crunch machine, especially when you add a load to it, then you're gonna start to round your spine forward, and you're gonna have that hunchback. You guys have all probably seen it with people. So,
well, I wish we had. This is gonna be my last one, and I wish we had Jody here. So if you guys see Jody, let us know. We need him back. Jojo, this is the motivation question, guys. So, hey, 3 months in, we started great. I'm losing weight. I lost those 7 pounds the first week. Now it's 1 or 2 a week. How do I stay motivated year long? So every week. I mean, you talked about just having people focus for 6 weeks for a 6-week challenge. So talk a little bit about how are you helping people? How can you help people stay motivated throughout the year?
I mean, there's a ton of ways I can go with that question. One, since I'm a firm believer in my locations and what we do, your place that you're working out at is going to be the key. Mm-hmm. Somebody like Ryan, if he hasn't seen somebody in the gym or all of a sudden so-and-so who was taking class 2 times a week is not there, we're going to notice that. My people, my staff at my gyms notice that. So that's one, we're going to help you stay motivated. 2, that's when you have to buckle down. That's when you need to go back, and we've talked about this in the past, a big proponent of writing it out.
Yep. In
your bathroom, write on the mirror, write your goals. You need to go back and look at that and remind yourself, okay, why did I start this in the first place? Now it's getting tough. Or, I've heard of people, even they buy that dress that they couldn't fit into. It's time to hang that back up in your face every day in your bathroom to go, okay, I'm not there yet. I want to get into that.
Yep.
All of it's going to come back to just your mindset and that focus. And that is another perfect time now to go back and visit your trainer. And now it's time to switch things up to shock your system into a different type of workout too.
Yep. And if you're adapting, as we preach, a healthy lifestyle where this is year round, you're eating healthy, you're working out year round. If you're adapting a healthy lifestyle, then you don't need to find constant motivation for like a photo shoot or a vacation or something, because what happens is you blitz and then you fall off the wagon, then you have to lose the weight that you put on. And it's just like it's a big yo-yo. So if you're eating healthy and exercising year round, that should be your motivation about the way you feel, the way you look. And obviously, Aaron's talked about this before. We put on a little extra fluff in the winter, really, because we don't have our shirts off.
Right.
And then when summer comes, blitz it. But we maintain like if you're not to your goal, that should be your motivation, is to hit your goal. And I'm not saying if you have 120 pounds to lose, you need to be looking at 120 pounds. You need to be looking at small goals, like, small accomplishments, whether it's 10 pounds by, 6 weeks or whatever. And that's why we run these 6-week challenges, is to keep people motivated until they adapt this healthy lifestyle.
Right.
Because after each challenge, people are like, what's the next one? What's the next one? Because that's what motivates them. Okay. But we're trying to train their brain to where that's just their norm. Okay, doing different dieting techniques, doing different workshops, educating you people through this, so it just becomes a way of life.
For the person that actually comes in and does it right, after the first 2 or 3 weeks, those are going to be your hardest. And we can name person after person that we see that came in and did it right. They did exactly the plan that they did. They don't need that motivation. Mm-hmm. They're so fired up. They have seen that this is working for the first time in my life. That's another thing. If you're lacking motivation that many months in, you probably haven't been doing what you've been trialed or what you were supposed to do the whole entire time anyways.
Yep.
Again, that's another thing that we can see right off the bat. I've got 22, 23 years of experience in this business, so I've heard every excuse under the sun.
Yep.
There are days even for us, I have not lifted today, and I'm going, okay, should I take today as my day off or should I lift? I've got excuses going on in my head too. So it happens to us as well, but I can guarantee you I don't go more than a couple of days without working out.
I don't feel the
Because then
same.
day 3, it's so easier to go, I'll just take one more day. I'll just take one more day. Other than hernia surgery a couple of years ago, I have not taken a week off of lifting.
And you log all your workouts.
I do. I keep track on
you showed me. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I can tell you every single day. I can tell you at the end of the year, I average 330, 340 workouts in a year. Now, that doesn't mean I lift 340 times. That workout may be a 30-minute walk with my wife on a Sunday afternoon. But I can go back every year and see exactly what I've done. Also, I have a hard time, just like you, remembering how many reps I've done. Mm-hmm. I also forget what I did 2 days before that for a body part too. So I have a log, so I remember.
You'd think I'd be able to count by now. I don't know.
I can't either. And I'm a numbers guy too. But when I'm lifting it, just like I go brain dead. Actually, no, I get more ideas and more motivation and more inspiration lifting. Ask my staff how many times I walk into the office and go, oh, we're going to do this next.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I just came up with this. And it's all when I'm working out.
Mm-hmm. I feel so much better when I'm working out. If I miss a few days, it's crazy how you feel. And and talking about being motivated and staying motivated and adapting this into a lifestyle change, it's been so sad to see how many people that you've helped change their life and they've lost a ton of weight and then they show back up a year later and they put it all back on. Mm-hmm. It's heartbreaking because it's like, you worked so hard, but that's why you can't just look at it as this big blitz to get it off unless you're able to be in the mindset to be able to maintain, and here's the deal. I eat like shit on the weekends, so I drink, I eat bad on the weekends, but I'm in maintenance mode, but if I'm in cutting mode, I don't do that on the weekends, and it just
Still
really
a cheat meal.
but I don't ever get heavier than my weight will fluctuate, for probably seriously since probably in the last 5 years, I fluctuate between, if I'm going to compete, 220 to 250. Like that's my fluctuation, but I never I never go above that. And I know like pretty
That's
much
amazing to me that your healthy fluctuation is 30 pounds. Like I'm excited that I'm about to hit 30 pounds of crap, down. So I'm listening to you say
my healthy
your healthy fluctuation is 30 pounds. So I think that shows though that every situation is a little different. You've got to tailor it to yourself. And I was listening to you guys talk about motivation. For me, there's a lot of fear in my motivation. Like, look, I haven't had a sip of soda since I started. I love my caffeine. I love soda.
You don't want to taste that crack, do you?
But yeah, look, I know if I have one, if I grab a Dr. Pepper, there's gonna be a lot of Dr. Peppers to follow.
23 flavors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's a thing. I mean, like that's why I feel like our passion is for what we're doing for a reason, because we've been through this, we've done it, we battle with the same types of things. It is not easier for us, especially because I might walk into 4 gyms in one day and not even get a chance to get a workout in. Let alone some people just have a hard time getting there. I'm there and I can't get a workout in. So we still have the same demons. I will still preach it. Tomorrow morning I'll be awake at 5. I'll be at the gym 5:30. Yep. It's done, over for the day, and now my whole day is so much better. And I look at my steps and I'm already like way up in steps. I love it.
Way up in steps. Yep. Well, hey guys, thank you for the questions.
Yeah, keep the questions coming.
Keep the questions coming. We love answering them. I feel like this is was a good podcast. Hopefully, you guys get some good information from that. We got the Shred podcast on the Facebook. That's where you should submit your questions to us. And thanks again.
Ask us questions about us too. I mean, some of you who have no idea who we are or what we've done or anything like that, ask us questions on that. We may even do like a bio episode possibly in the future too, just to kind of prove to you that we do know what we're talking about, even though Ryan makes up statistics sometimes.
Stat master.
You were dead on the calorie one today, though. So
was that?
Yeah, you killed that.
Yes. And no F-bombs. All right, thanks, y'all. Love you.
Love you. Later.
Tune in next week.
Johnny Wayne Studios. This at Words by Rule and
You have been listening to Shred with host Ryan Waters, along with Aaron Simpson and Jody Rue. The Shred podcast is produced by Nick Parker and the Fredcast Network. Subscribe to Shred on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or most any of your favorite podcast apps. Have a topic, idea, or question for Ryan and the gang? Connect with us on Facebook at Shred Podcast.